Look, I'm joined by the Senator from South Australia, Senator Antic, proof of the fact that there are very good people in the Liberal Party in Canberra, but a lot of the good ones don't get a Guernsey. This is the man, remember, who tied the bureaucracy in knots when he asked a simple question to the head of the Federal Department of Health, a professor no less, albeit a woke one, Brendan Murphy, about how he would define a woman. Remember that? Senator Antic is a 47-year-old graduate of the University of Adelaide. He is the first Australian senator of Serbian descent. His father arrived, it's a great story, from Yugoslavia in 1957 and eventually became Director of Thoracic Medicine at Royal Adelaide Hospital. Alex Antic has been an outspoken advocate of freedom and conservative values. Unfortunately, a bit rare in the Liberal Party today, and that, in my view, is a central component of their failure. The last time we spoke, we ran out of time on this issue of a trusted digital identity bill. But just by way of background, Senator Antic has splendidly argued in the past that as a result of coronavirus, Australians have lost trust in their institutions through the relentless incursions into their lives and their liberty. He's argued that these incursions were cruel and unnecessary and failed to address the concerns of Australians who value, his words, the fast evaporating tenet of freedom of choice, unquote. Like me, he thanklessly condemned 2 years of coronavirus paralysis, quote, his words, in which we were told to accept QR codes, density limits, border restrictions, and a loss of medical autonomy, unquote. He reminds us that the COVID vaccines were supposedly voluntary, but they then became a prerequisite for work, which cost livelihoods, devastated families, undermined trust in governments and the medical establishment. Arguing these positions shouldn't be unfashionable talk for the Liberal Party, but it is. Is this man on the opposition front bench? Of course he's not. Remember, in all the draconian response to coronavirus, the public had no say. They were bullied into submission. Remember all those nauseating press conferences, terrifying us, hysteria, alarmism? But it was a Liberal government in Canberra, allowing all this to go on. Now there are fully vaccinated people with boosters in hospital with coronavirus. It's unfashionable to say so, but in all that alarmist talk, we weren't told the truth. Get the vaccine, you'll be okay. Surrender your freedoms. Well, here in Alex Antic is a man dedicated not to the principle of essential freedoms, but to the practice of them. And hence this trusted digital identity bill. Senator Antic, thank you for your time and your advocacy in the defence of essential freedoms. Now we've got this trusted digital identity bill. What the hell is it?
Yeah, well, thanks, Alan. Look, it's a really curious piece of legislation, the status of which is yet to be seen in the new Parliament. But you can rest assured it's coming back. It's actually a bill that was started under the previous Liberal government, and where it came from is a very, very curious question in itself. But it emerged, it was chewed through the bureaucracy, and ultimately it's a piece of legislation which at this stage is designed to try to link together all the government services like Medicare, MyGov, the driver's licences, and give it one ID. So every Australian would have one ID number under which all of their information would be held. So all of that sounds all right. It's pitched as voluntary. It's what comes next that worries me, Alan. And I say that because we have seen 2 years of being told one thing and something quite different comes out the other end of the pipe. So I think this has got some real problems. We don't know what Labor are going to do with it yet. They presumably are thinking about it, but I'll put my money on the fact that what will come out the other end of that pipe will be something much worse and much more draconian.
So just